Happy Saturday, foodie friends and grain-free VIPs, and welcome to today's Slice of the Grain-Free Lifestyle episode, where our topic is, let's make something grain-free, allergy-friendly, and delicious. My name's Nina Blake, and I empower grain-free families to ditch their boring and restrictive lifestyles and embrace craveable comfort foods so that they can eat like normal again. And I'm so happy that you are here with me. What do you think we're making today? Go ahead, put it in the comments below. And as you're coming on and being notified that you are here live with me, I would love for you to say hello. If you're catching the replay, please use hashtag replay so that I can reach out and personally thank you. What do you think we're making today? I'll give you a hint. I have my little stand mixer here. What do you think we're gonna make? Now, if you know me, you know I love my breads. And that is what we are making today. We are making a grain-free, allergy-friendly, lectin-free bread without gluten, grain, dairy, egg, soy, corn, almond, cashew, peanut, sesame, lectin, legume, and there's no nightshade and there's no active yeast. And if you're going, Nina, the only thing left to work with is water. No. But before we get rolling, I want you to sing with me, okay? Ready? I am grain-free and I can do anything. I am grain-free and I can do anything. You are grain-free and you can do anything. You are grain-free and you can do anything. We are grain-free and we can do anything. We are grain-free and we can do anything. And today, because we are grain-free and we can do anything, we are going to make bread. Have you ever made grain-free bread before? Tell me in the comments. I would love to know. Have you made grain-free bread before? How did it go? Let me tell you. My first few years of making grain-free bread, it did not go well. I did not make bread when I tried. No, I made bricks instead of bread, because I thought I would just have to follow all the old rules, that those were the rules of cooking. And you know what I learned? Hey, Patty, I'm so glad you're here live with me. I am making grain-free bread. And for those of you who are VIPs, you're gonna be able to get this recipe in my VIP recipe box. This is my lectin-free sandwich bread, which I released earlier this year. Now, before you all join me, I mixed up the dough. So what's in here? There is some lectin-free flour blend. There's some egg replacer, a little bit of coconut milk. Hi, Kim. Kim Hammond is here live with us. Patty's here. And so we're making grain-free, allergy-friendly, lectin-free bread. And I've got my dough here. I've got lectin-free, all-purpose flour. I've got some coconut flour, water, coconut milk, xanthan gum, and don't worry, it's a corn-free xanthan gum, and some salt in here, okay? So I mixed up my dough. Now I'm gonna put it in my stand mixer. Okay, I'm gonna move my beverage because I don't want my portable countertop to wear it. No, thank you. All right, I gotta add my dough hook. And if you do not have a stand mixer, please treat yourself to a stand mixer. And for those people who say, I can't afford it, let's be real for a minute. When we take control of our food and we start making it ourselves, we start saving a lot of money. And for me, the money that I was spending on grain-free flours that I never used, or ingredients that were expired, when I started keeping it simple, I found out I had a whole lot more money in my budget, and that's actually how I paid for my stand mixer. Okay, now we are not done. Okay. I need my leavening agents. And so in my little dish here, I have some baking soda and cream of tartar. And so it's gonna go in. It's going in the bowl. And Patty, so for VIPs out there, you have some great instructions in Grain-Free Fast Track in the course called The Basics of Bread Making that will help you with your bread, so definitely check that out. If you don't have that course, just put bread below, and that way I can reach out to you and help you unlock that. So I've added cream of tartar and baking soda, and now I'm gonna turn my mixer on and I'm gonna incorporate the ingredients. Well, what does incorporate mean? Incorporate means that I'm going to make sure the ingredients get mixed together so that nothing is separate. Okay? And what will happen is that you won't be able to see any of the cream of tartar or any of the baking soda. It's all going to look like dough. And that's how I will know my ingredients are incorporated. So let me show you what ingredients that are not incorporated look like, just so you can have an idea. So if you look here and you see the white on the edges, that's the cream of tartar and baking soda. So obviously it's not incorporated. Now the dough looks different than it did a minute ago because it is already starting to rise. Remember, this is a yeast-free dough. Yeast is magical, but I avoid yeast because yeast is often grown in corn, and it gets harder and harder to find a corn-free yeast. And also, I have family members who are battling with candida, and some of my clients are too. So having yeast-free breads is a total game changer. And remember, there's no yeast, there's no grains, there's no top allergens here. And so we're just gonna let the cream of tartar and baking soda incorporate. And we're doing this on the lowest speed. So while this is happening, I'm gonna grease my loaf pan. All right, so I have my nice little loaf pan here. I have my organic coconut oil. I'm going to get a clean paper towel. And I'm noticing that a lot of my leavening agents are stuck underneath, but that's no problem because I'm just going to do what I do and just flip this dough up so that the top becomes the bottom and the bottom becomes the top. Because the one thing that I've learned about these stand mixers is you have to watch them. They don't always do what they tell you they're going to do. They are a godsend. Okay. So I've got my organic coconut oil here. And for those of you who are looking to make bread, just put bread below so that I can reach out to you and get you this amazing recipe. Of course, the recipe, the course for the basics of grain-free bread baking is in grain-free fast track. So please put bread below so I can reach out to you and get you that course. All right, so I'm just greasing my loaf pan here. Now my first 5 years being grain-free were filled with flops. I told you, I didn't know what to do. I was following everybody else's rules and I wasn't getting results. Instead of making bread, I made bricks. Instead of making cookies, I made shingles and sheetrock and one nasty batch of cookies that tasted like socks. This lovely lady from church, oh, she was so nice. I had to preheat my oven. This lovely lady from church, she said, Nina, you make these garbanzo bean cookies. And I was like, I'm gonna make us garbanzo bean cookies, huh? And she said, you make them and we will all eat them with you so you can share food with your friends. Because again, she was a nice lady from church and I had said that I hadn't been able to eat food with my friends for months. And she got me that lovely recipe for those garbanzo bean cookies. And you know what happened with those garbanzo bean cookies? We couldn't even eat them. They were so stinky, by the time they made it to our mouths, we were gagging before we even took a bite. So if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, nothing I do works, I have been to that place before and I don't know what your struggle is like. I don't know what your grain-free journey is like, but I know mine. And mine wasn't pretty. Most people who end up here watching me cook, their grain-free journey is filled with struggles that doctors, nutritionists, even chefs have a hard time helping them with. And they end up in the same place I found myself in. Wanting to heal, wanting to do anything, not knowing how to do what they need to do. And that's where I was. And that's why I'm breaking this recipe with you today. I'm gonna turn it on 2. I'm gonna set my timer for 2 minutes. So what did I do? How is where I am today different than where I was 14 years ago when I started? When I started, I didn't know my grains. I didn't know my grain-based ingredients. I didn't know how to cook like normal. So what have I done since then? I came up with an all-purpose flour blend that I'm using here. that takes the place of flour. I came up with an egg replacer so that I can bake like normal. I came up with ways to replace dairy. And later on, while the bread is rising, I'm going to show you one of those. So please don't think that we're just talking about bread. Because I know not everybody likes bread. I don't understand why, but that's for another time. Maybe if you want to tell me. Now, for those of you who are going, I need to learn to make bread, my amazing VA Arlene is going to put my link below, and I want you to use my link so that we can meet together and we can talk about what your dreams are for your grain-free lifestyle. If you are stuck in that stage where you are making bricks and shingles and sheetrock, and God forbid you got the sock cookies, you don't want to stay there. I didn't want to stay there, right? And so I want to get you out of that phase so that you can eat like normal again. And we have just about a minute left. So what we've done so far is I mixed up the all-purpose flour blend, the coconut flour, the water, the coconut milk, the corn-free xanthan milk, and the salt. Since we've been together, we've added some cream of tartar and baking soda. And if you're saying, what are those? Cream? Can I have cream? Cream of tartar is dairy-free. Dairy-free. You've eaten cream of tartar all the time in your life because it's one of the 2 common ingredients in baking powder. So, if you've ever eaten a cookie before, you've had cream of tartar. Nothing to worry about. Okay, so now, here we go, and I'm gonna take my mixer and put it off to the side. All right, so my mixer's off to the side, so now you can see. And we have Amanda Harper. Hi, Amanda. So glad you're here live with me. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm coming to you live from my kitchen in Oakdale, Connecticut. I'd love to know where you are tuning in from. And for those of you who are catching the replay, please use #replay. So we are making grain-free, lectin-free bread today. I have greased my loaf pan. We just incorporated our cream of tartar and baking soda, and look at this. Now you can see the air pockets. Now this has air pockets like real dough, and it's going to rise. So what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna take my dough and I'm gonna get it into the loaf pan. Sounds easy enough, right? No. Okay. There we go. And of course, we greased our loaf pan. So now, what we get to do is we get to watch our loaf change. Because even though this is a yeast-free bread, we want it to rise. What is happening here? A chemical reaction is happening between the cream of tartar and baking soda, and that is creating carbon dioxide gas. So even though this is a yeast-free bread, you're going to see it rise, get larger, expand in the loaf pan, and we want to give it some time to do that before we pop it in the oven. So let me check the time that it needs to rise. And of course, grain-free VIPs, you have this recipe in my VIP recipe box. It is under lectin-free sandwich bread, and it's amazing. Okay, so, and we are going to let this loaf rest for 5 minutes. So let me set the timer. Okay, so remember, it's gonna get bigger. Now, while we're waiting, we have something else that we're gonna do. And I'll be right back because it's in the fridge. Great if all we needed to do was avoid grains. But most of us are also avoiding dairy and other ingredients. So while we're waiting for our bread to rise, I thought I'd show you a great little grain-free, dairy-free dip platter that you could make. So this is my ranch dip. It's got a little bit of mayonnaise and a brand new sour cream. And And just gonna spoon some of that into this nice little dip container. Super simple, right? Oop. Apparently the countertop wanted to have some dip with me. And if you are tuning in here live with me, please say hello in the comments. We just made some lectin-free sandwich bread and we are waiting for it to rise. And I'm just gonna have a little bit of this dip. So good. So I've got my dip. And we've got Kenna here. Hi Kenna, so glad you're here live with me. And I've got a fancy little plate here. So I'm gonna put my dip in my fancy little plate. And then we're gonna cut a cucumber just to make a nice little dip. So what would you like to learn to cook without grains and allergens? And if you'd like to do more cooking with me, if you think that I should do more of these live demos, would you please put more cooking in the comments below? All right, the oven is preheated. That's great. We're waiting for our loaf to rise. And you're gonna be amazed at how much it rises in only 5 minutes. Okay, I'm just slicing up a cucumber. And if you'd like the recipe for either the bread or the dip, please put recipes in the comments so I can reach out to you and get you these recipes. Now, again, I didn't learn to do this in cooking school. Nobody taught me how to do it. I had to learn this stuff. I had to go into my kitchen and break the recipe on my own because nobody could figure out how to make bread without gluten, grain, dairy, egg, soy, corn, peanut, sesame, tree nut, or yeast. Nobody could figure that out. And so my doctor told me, Nina, just go online and look for recipes. Oh yes, go online and look for recipes. And like I told you, I tried substituting and that got me bricks instead of bread, shingles and sheetrock instead of cookies. It got me cookies that tasted like socks. It was not pretty and it's nobody's fault. But the recipes out there at the time, they were just either grain-free or they were dairy-free, not both. And if they were grain-free and dairy-free, then they certainly weren't egg-free. Forget about, without almonds. It seemed like every grain-free recipe at the time had almonds too. Not cool. And so I didn't know what to do. I asked my doctor, she sent me online. I asked the nutritionist, she sent me online. And I just got fed up. I got fed up and I gave up. And I said, you know what? I'm giving up other people's recipes because it's just ending in the same food that doesn't taste good. If I got really lucky, it would taste like coconut or almond, but not everything should taste like coconut or almond. And so when you work with me, I teach you how to neutralize flavors like coconut, like almond, so that you might be using coconut, but your food doesn't taste like it. As a matter of fact, the VIP who I was coaching this morning, she's like, I cannot believe that we can neutralize the flavor of coconut. I use that ingredient in everything now. She even made my coconut whipped cream and her mother-in-law called her out on it. Her mother-in-law said, I see you gave up that dairy-free. And she said, no, Mom, this is dairy-free. And her mother-in-law was floored because her mother-in-law, who, although she supports her, doesn't understand how to cook like this. I mean, who does, right? Her mother-in-law thought it was real dairy. And so if you're looking to eat like normal while still avoiding grains and allergens, then I want you to use my calendar link. VIPs are VIP lounge meetups are the first Saturday of every month at 10 a.m. Eastern and the third Wednesday of every month at 7:15 Eastern. You can come, keep your camera turned off, and just learn. Put your questions in the chat. I know sometimes being on camera can be intimidating. Look at this bread. Look at this beautiful bread. Only 5 minutes to rise, and look how nice and tall it is. So it's going in the oven. Oh, whoops. I'm gonna put it over here. I made a mistake for a second. I put it in the middle of the small oven and it would hit the broiler. So I'm gonna set the timer now. And now it's gotta bake. Oh, we got more people here with us. I'm so excited to be here with you. Please tell me where you are tuning in from. And if you want the recipe for today's bread, please put bread below. If you're looking for the recipes for today's dip, put dip below, and any other recipes. That would be great. Okay. Now, my amazing VA Arlene has put my calendar link there. And why? Well, because I know what it is to struggle. And I wish there was somebody there for me 14 years ago, because it took me an entire decade to learn to eat like normal. And when I say eat like normal, I mean enjoy my favorite foods again. One of my most proud moments, and if you ever see this person in our group, her name is Anna Goslin. I call her Auntie Anna, but Auntie Anna encouraged me to bring my grain-free flour to her house so that we could make our Christmas Eve recipes. She said, Nina, we'll do it. There has to be a way to do it. If you can make bread with this flour, then we'll be able to make stuffing. We'll be able to fry our fish. And Auntie Anna was right. Auntie Anna was the first one who encouraged me to break the recipe, who encouraged me that normal eating was possible again. And I want that for you. I don't want you to have to spend 10 years missing out on your favorite foods. 10 years going into your kitchen every weekend and being a food scientist while you're missing out on life, or missing out on cookouts all summer long because you don't know what to do. I did that enough. Nobody else should have to do that. So here is my dip platter. In it, I have my dairy-free ranch, and I've made that with dairy-free, grain-free sour cream, the lectin-free version that is coming out soon, and a little mayo and my homemade ranch seasoning. Now, I had a friend over the other day, and we were having some of this dip together. They brought a nice big veggie platter, and it was great to share an afternoon with them and eat like normal again. And so that's what I want for you too. VIPs, I'm here to support you twice a month in our VIP lounge sessions and in our coaching sessions. And if you're not yet a VIP, use my calendar link so that I can support you. We'll get you what you need to start eating like normal again. I'll post the photo of the bread when it's done baking. I believe you can do this. Why? Because the possibilities are endless when you break a recipe. All right, people, now you got to sing with me. You got to do the outro. Ready? I am grain-free and I can do anything. You are grain-free and you can do anything. We are grain-free and we can do anything. All right. I can't wait to support you. Have a wonderful weekend.